On Christmas Eve, we give you a sense of some planning around Christmas Day lunch. We're joined by Andile Somdaka, who's founder of Eziko Culinary Academy and national board member of SA Chefs, to discuss the latest trends when it comes to Christmas menu ideas. Andile, very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean, a lot of people at the moment are looking forward, or perhaps not even looking forward, to hours at the stove, by the oven, trying to put something decent on the table for Christmas Day. What is your advice and perhaps your observation as one prepares for Christmas Day lunch?
You know, first of all, before we get into food, family time is Christmas time.
Yeah.
And the most important thing is to make lasting impression and lasting memories, because of valuable times are spent with family. And the best thing to do is to put your best foot forward and create some of the nice to have dishes at home for families. And we also, as qualified chefs of the industry, it's our duty to also advise the home cookers as to what type of foods and dishes to cook and mesmerize the family members, because of those times that you have with families are treasured. And so the best time is to create some of the best dishes and put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
And there is a national dish that is actually loved in South Africa, which is quite has been talked about this year. And it's a dish that I last cooked as a young chef during my Club Nicholas Hotel days, during my Mount Nelson Hotel days in Cape Town. I've actually scratched around and cook and prepare this bad boy here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, it would have been nice if you brought us that bad boy here in studio. I mean, the guys here in studio are like, why? Why do we have to see this bad boy on TV instead of right here in studio? Tell us about it.
I think the next time around, we will probably have a better interview done at the studio, so we can have all the delicacies. It was a last-minute request, and I couldn't say no to the request. I mean, you just buy a gammon. Gammon is a very lovely animal. I mean, it's pork. You can have castle rib, it's up to you. So what I then did here with is, now I used whole grain mustard. And I've mixed that with the honey. The honey was harvested in my yard. I happened to stay in the farm plot, and the guys that they harvested the honey in my yard. So I used the whole grain mustard, and I used the honey to glaze it, and then I roasted it, and then I obviously put the cloves in it. And I mean, this is a match made in heaven. It's a simple, straightforward dishes that you can make as a family. But then also us as Africans, we also have our own other delicacies also that we can touch to. I mean, our cooked food. I mean, preferably myself, I always talk about the foods that were actually taught to us by our older sisters, by our grandmothers.
Yeah.
Those are the dishes that I actually take them everywhere and anywhere I go. And also I always try to simplify things as family members. Please just cook your samp and beans, which is a dish that was loved by the great Nelson Mandela, that I used to be his personal chef. So our national dish of South Africa, which is samp and beans. So just simplify things. We do a hard-boiled chicken. Don't go out of your way and look for gammon if you can't find it.
Yes.
And so I mean, castle ribs are some of the dishes that we get in the cities and all those things. So if you can't get that, so by all means use what is at your disposal and just make the best out of it. Because the most important thing is to share those great memories with family and friends.
It's very easy for you to say just make samp and beans, but we know that there are many variations, and one wants to impress, and of course it has to create a lasting impression. So you remember, oh, I was at Mpo's house on Christmas Day and I had samp and beans. It had a buttery feel. What is the best way to prepare it?
You know, I'm going to talk about the way I used to cook for Madiba. Just boil the vegetables, which is your samp and beans. You just boil them. And mind you that the samp is not an indigenous crop of South Africa, of Africa for that matter, let alone South Africa. This thing is borrowed from South America, but again, we localized it and then we created dishes of our own using these products from outside. We have the sorghums, we have the white millet, we have the sorghum, the red millets, and then the list is endless. I mean, we have a wild melon like. I know the question is still remain with the salmon beans, but I also want to put an emphasis on our own dishes, things that are available at the village level, at the city level, things that are at your disposal, just cook them. But the best way of cooking salmon beans, according to me, because of this, is going to be according to someone else and according to someone else and all that. Just boil the product. Put if you prefer to put your beef stock in it, it's up to you. If you prefer to put your chicken stock up to it, it's up to you. But I always prefer to boil it, to just put a bit of salt and pepper, a lot of pepper, ground pepper, white pepper preferably. And then I put also rama. I don't use margarine, any margarine. I just use particularly rama. And obviously with the seasoning of my favorite, and that's it. You know, and I've seen people putting cremora in them. I've seen people putting. Those are personal preferences, you know. So I can't blame people for doing such thing. But preferably, how your grandparents introduced the dish to you, I think that's always for me personally. Is the way you need to create, take it forward, and run with it, you know. So because of when you have people who are visiting you from outside the country and around the world, just show them what your grandmother used to feed you.
Okay, so we've got the starch, we've got the protein. Salads. What do we make for salads?
Wow. I'm going to talk about my region, where I'm coming from. I mean, here, when you go to Polokwane, which is, I'm not coming from Polokwane, I'm coming from the Western Cape and the Eastern Cape region. Kune vegetables ezibizwa umfino. And in fact, some of us, we've gotten a bit lazy. We use spinach as umorogo. And the spinach is not even close to umorogo. Umorogo stands for umfino. So I will probably suggest that you can cook things that we grew up eating, like a pumpkin, the wild pumpkins, the wild melons, that for that matter. Those are the vegetable dishes, because of predominantly our own African food. There's cow beans also. There's a lot of variety of dishes that we can have there. In my Xhosa language, we call it ukhawukhawu. That is called imitwane. And it's a young pumpkin leaves. I know in the northern part of the Limpopo, they use ground nuts. They mix that with ground nuts. It's amazing. Without being lazy and use spinach. There are those other vegetables that are called, the one that is slimy also is called telele. These are the vegetables that are actually found in our regions. You can't find them anywhere else except here in Southern Africa. So, I mean, the wild, if I'm talking about the pumpkin, young leaves of the pumpkin, you can find them around the world, everywhere around the world. What makes the South African dish is how we cook it. And those are some of the indigenous ways of old methods of cooking as Africans. And so we should introduce these things to us. I mean, as you know, there's food that is called village food. Village food is actually so close to what Africans' culture of South Africa is all about. I mean, the back broad, which is some bago in my language.
Yes.
Roasted cooks in Afrikaans, there's called roastire. These are the things that we grew up eating, and that food predominantly in the city life, it's not known. And then I think it's all about, for us to, some of the chefs who understand, who actually had that background of how these vegetable dishes, as you're asking, because of African food, it's not about maudwana, it's not about malamhodu.
Yeah, there's more to it.
Most of our food is predominantly plant-based.
Thank you so much. We are hoping to take some of those tips, Andile. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but thank you so much. Very informative. African cuisine is the way to go as you perhaps grapple with what you'll make tomorrow and impress your family and friends as you celebrate Christmas Day. Andile Somdaka, founder of Eziko Culinary Academy and national board member of SA Chefs, discussing the latest African trends when it comes to Christmas menu ideas.